Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. The current session focuses on the question of varieties of language in sociolinguistics. I hope and expect that by the end of this session, you would be able to understand what does the term variety mean in sociolinguistics, what are varieties of languages, and how do they operate. Well, if we think of the term variety, and we relate it to language as a phenomena that includes all the languages of the world, the term variety can be seen in relation to various other, uses of the term. For example, when it comes to its manifestation in music, we have varieties of music. And how do we identify a particular kind of music is we identify one variety of music by comparing and contrasting it with the other variety of music. So it is the process of identifying this relativity in relation to other type of music that we identify one particular type. Same applies to language, and there are different varieties of language or languages, which means in relation to each other, how do they differ? So when we consider the question, what makes one variety of language different from another, one possible answer can be the linguistic items. So we may define that a variety of language as a set of linguistic items with similar social distribution, which means within one variety of language, the distribution of linguistic items would be similar and it would be different from the other variety. However, the question still is not fully answered and there are problems with it. The question of varieties of language still needs some clarity. Still there is some confusion, and what is that confusion? Why it is so? Because if you see this list that I am showing you on the screen of different languages, for example, English, French, London English, the English of football commentaries, the languages used by the members of Longhouse in Northwest Amazon, the language used by a particular person, the language that you use, the language, for example, that your people of your province use, etc. If you consider this whole list, what you would realize is that the very general notion of variety includes examples of what would normally be called languages, dialects, or registers. So, for example, a particular language that you use is an idiolect, an individual's language. A particular variety of a language that is used in a particular social class or in a region is a sociolect or a regional dialect, whereas there are then languages, varieties within languages, American English, British English, Australian English, and for that matter, Indian English or Pakistani English. So, the term variety is a very, very loose construct, and it covers multiple, various kinds of, what I would call differences that exist in different types, and it calls them varieties. It is a general term for all these concepts that I've talked about, like dialects, languages, registers, sociolects, etc. And this actually is the advantage of this term because using the term variety allows us to cover all this, especially when it comes to studies in sociolinguistics. It also allows us to ask what basis there is for the distinction among them. Why, for instance, one particular variety is different from the other? Is it because of the regional differences? Is it because of the national differences? Is it because of the state imposition? Is it because of the individual choices of people? So, this one term variety is useful also in the sense that it covers all these areas and it helps us take into consideration all these aspects of language differences. And in fact, all these questions, they leave us with this one general term that non-technically, and I would focus on the word non-technically, because the word variety is used in a non-technical sense in sociolinguistics. Otherwise, terms such as dialects, languages, or styles are to be used. It is also, my dear students, consistent with the definition to treat all the languages of some multilingual speaker or community as a single variety, since all the linguistic items concerned have a similar kind of social distribution and they are used by the same speaker and by the same community. So, there is a variety that may be larger than a lay language, including a number of different languages. On the opposite, on the other hand, what we can say is, according to the definition, a variety may contain just a handful of items. So, for example, if there is language A and there is what we call language B, the difference in these two varieties may be of just a few linguistic items, which make variety B different from variety A. So, for example, one might define a variety consisting of those items used solely by a particular family or by a particular group of people of a particular village, for example. Thus, a variety can be smaller than a language, it can be a language, it can be a dialect, etc. This proves one point that variety, the term variety itself is very, very flexible, and it allows to ask us what basis there is for postulating the kinds of package of linguistic items to which conventionally we label as a dialect or as a register or as a language. What is it that makes a language a language? What is it that makes a dialect a dialect? And what is it that makes a dialect different from the other dialect? And what is it that makes a particular kind of language a register? All these pertinent questions thus can be treated under this single term variety. It is because the items form themselves into natural bundles of sets, as structuralists would talk about these linguistic bundles, but actually this is not how it happens. This really is a difficult question to answer, and probably the answer again is in negative, because again these bundles of words that make one variety of language or the other variety of language, these bundles are very loosely constructed. They are not tightly knitted. There can always be possibilities of adding words or removing words. There are no restrictions on the relations among varieties. One variety can overlap with the other variety. One variety can coexist, I would say, with the other variety. One variety may be included in the other variety. One variety may survive separately in isolation from the other variety. So all these possibilities are present. The defining characteristic, however, of each of the variety is the relevant relationship to the particular society. In other words, who is using it, for whom it is being used, when it is being used, and why these linguistic items are being used. So, the issue of varieties in language are a very pertinent issue, and the term is widely used in sociolinguistics and thus gathers a lot of significance.